Today I'm in Aberfoyle. Aberfoyle's one of my favourite Scottish towns. Funnily enough, there's no train station here, and there hasn't been since 1951, at least not to the public anyway. The train station did last until 1959, for freight only. Here we can see in this aerial shot of Aberfoyle the large car park which occupies the site of the old Aberfoyle train station. And by the magic of technology, we can travel back in time to 1915, when this map was printed, and we can clearly see that there was once a train station on this very spot. And here is an old postcard of Aberfoyle train station from around 1901. We can see a train at the station ready to load. You might notice that it stopped slightly short of the platform. This was so that the photographer could get a good shot of the train and all the people at the station. In the background is Craigmore Mountain, providing a spectacular setting for this snapshot in time. Everyone is posing for the camera, and if you look carefully on the track by the side of the train, there is even a man with his wee dog beside him. Ah, the days before health and safety. This is a psychopath, and it's on top of what was once the railway line. The trains would trundle in and out of here from 1882 until 1951, and then for a further 8 years for cargo only, till 1959, when finally the train station closed for good. Soon to be demolished. This is all that's left of that railway. Now, Aberfoyle station was a terminus, and so the trains turned around at this point to head back down to Glasgow. And apparently the turntable is still to be found. So I'm keeping my eye opened and see if we can see the old turntable that used to turn the trains around to head them back down to Glasgow. Look at these little cottages. I think these were the old railway cottages made from sandstone. And I'll tell you a bit about that in a minute. These cottages are absolutely beautiful. What a setting. There's their view. Look at these lovely little trails. What does it say? Aberfoyle Wood of something, I don't know. Yeah, look at this. So I walked past it. That's that little bridge I walked over up there. So back towards the car park, I met a man and he told me that the turntable used to be here. He says sometimes the council cut round it to show the outline of it, but they've not recently. So right here, in all of this overgrowth, is where the train would turn round and then head back down to Glasgow. Look at all the trees that are here now. So as I said, the train station finally closed its doors in 1959 and was demolished soon after. I can see these little like mushroom, there's one there, there's one up there, I don't know if that's markers. Maybe not, there's one in there. One in there. It's amazing to think that what is 59, 41, 66 years ago, there was a big turntable here that turned the trains around to head back to Glasgow. So I'll tell you a little bit about the train line. I'll just go and find a bit. I mean, there's great little trails here. It's so beautiful here. I mean, I'm literally just seconds. I don't know if you can just see the car park there. You're seconds away from the car park. When you come in to the car park, you turn left. There's all these little paths. When the railway line was completed in 1882, they had to find a way of testing it, particularly because part of the track came over moss land. Flanders moss, I believe it's called. But they didn't want to obviously use human weight because that would put human life at risk, possibly if the track were to snap, for instance, or bend or buckle. So they decided to get a cargo train and load it up with sandstone and bring that up the track to Aberfoyle. It was a success. The train made it okay. The track withheld the weight, no problem. Far heavier, I'd imagine, than a fully laden train with humans. And so when the train got here, it had all this sandstone on the back or on all the different trucks. So they thought, what to do with it? Well, what did they do with it? Well, they built the railway cottages that we just seen as we walked along that path. And they also built a row of 6 Victorian-style houses, which we'll have a look at when we go back up to the main road. And so those few houses are all made up of the sandstone that came up on that test run in 1882. I mean, look at this little gravel bank. You could just sit and have a pat lunch. It's amazing. I've had mine already. Look at this for a view. It's quite fast flowing actually over at the far end. We did have a huge rainfall yesterday. When you pull up in the car park, you wouldn't for a minute think there was a railway line there at one point, because there's no indication of it at first. In fact, if you didn't know any of the history of Aberfoyle, you would never know there was a railway station here. But with a little bit of digging, you'll find out that there was in fact a railway line here that served the public for 69 years. Wow. The line was originally meant to go all the way up to Oban, but as usual, they ran out of money. And so it terminated here in Aberfoyle, hence the turntable to take the train back down. This would have opened up the Trossachs to many people in Glasgow. It's a wonderful place to come and start your hill walking. There's hills everywhere. The wildlife is beautiful as well. So we'll head up to the main street now and I'll show you some of the shops. And we'll have a look at that row of Victorian style houses that was built using the sandstone from 1882. I love learning the history about a place. Wouldn't it be great if we could travel back through time? And there across the road is those sandstone houses built in the Victorian style, built using the sandstone from that test trip back in 1882. So Aberfoyle doesn't have a huge main street. It's quite small actually. I'll show you some of the things that's on the main street. You could hire a bike in here. Well, I don't know if it's still open. Maybe it's not open yet. It is June, mind you, so. And there's loads of nice places to eat. There's the fairy tree. Well, that's quite busy. There's loads of tea rooms and coffee shops on this stretch. I'm walking back down the way towards those houses again because the wind was blowing in against my microphone. It's the co-op. That's the fourth inn. That's the car park right there, which incidentally is free. More tea rooms over there. The Aberfoyle Inn Hotel. Lots of gift shops. Here's the fourth inn, the Wallace Bar. So we're nearly at the end of the main street already. It's got what you need. A wee shop for supplies and plenty of eateries. And of course, a wee ice cream shop right at the end. That's tempting actually. As you come into the car park, over at the left is the Scottish Wool Centre. They have a few little animals, and I think they have 3 little shows a day. We'll go over and have a look. Look at those horns, amazing. Hello. And more. Isn't that tasty? Look at this old piece of farming equipment. Albion. Wow. Grass is always greener on the other side. Hello. Hello. Yeah, big giant ice cream cone. Look at that. And after the turning plate, which was down that way, it would only have been the cargo line from here on up, bringing down the slate from the slate quarry. So I'm heading towards Loch Katrine. Once you go through Aberfoyle, as soon as you pass the main street, you turn up to your right and you head up this road here. It's called the Duke's Pass. And it's just about 7 miles or so into Loch Katrine. But I just had to stop because of this. Look at this view. Isn't that spectacular? And look at the road. The Duke's Pass. See, if you had a camper van and you were wanting to tour Scotland, I highly recommend coming to Aberfoyle and then heading up this road. The views are spectacular, but there was just nowhere to stop until at this point. Okay, let's head on to Loch Katrine. I've made another stop. Look at that. Isn't that breathtaking? There they are. I think they were coming over to see if I had any goodies, but I've only got a chocolate cookie and I know that wouldn't be good for them. Although they would probably eat it. Wouldn't those 2 trees be great to put a hammock? Look at the top. Expect to see an eagle sitting at the top of that tree. Very picturesque. This is the kind of place I'd imagine if Rabbie Burns came and sat down here, he'd whip up something amazing. If anybody's watching from America, don't worry, Nessie doesn't live in this one. Quite safe in this one. It's Loch Ness you need to go to see Nessie. This is Loch Acre. Loch Acre. So here I am at Loch Katrine in the car park where the steamship Sir Walter Scott leaves from. Huge car park, costs £4 for 2 hours. There's the times and there's the prices. It's the steamship cafe, and down there in that hut you can hire a bike. It's quite windy here. Rob Roy Smuggler. Of course, this is Rob Roy country. The Rob Roy Hotel is not far from here. All those trees. Look at those cliffs here. Quite a breeze comes down the water. A few camping pods there for hire. I'd imagine they won't come cheap. 7 lodges in total, each with their own name and their own individual parking space. And there's a sign for the lodges. Loch Katrine, lodges, eco lodges. There's the phone number in case you want to book. There are also camper van hookups, electricity, water and Wi-Fi in the main car park with use of a wet room and a shower in the main toilet block. So there you are. It used to be years ago you could drive right round the loch, but it looks like you can't do that anymore. The barrier. What a view. The prices for the longer cruises. 2-hour cruise, £30 for an adult. So there's a scenic tower viewpoint up all these stairs. Let's see if I can do it. Here we go. Steps are a bit uneven. We'll get to the top. Bit of a climb, but not too bad. I'm just so unfit. This is lovely. Oh wow, look at this. Look at that view. Absolutely unbelievable. Let's go further up. Lots of things in here about welcome Mr. President. The American presidential anthem hails from here. Ave Maria. George Washington, James Monroe, Andrew Jackson. Tell you the history of the place. Out of focus there. Right. There's a bit about Rob Roy. And Sir Walter Scott, the Lady of the Lake. Right. Up here. And in here. And up again. Would you look at that? Oh my goodness. Down here. This other bit. I'm over this other bit. And there's a wee bench here. Oh, great. And you can just sit and have a look at that and read. Mildly and soft the western breeze just kissed the lake, just skirred the trees. One burnished sheet of living gold, Loch Katrine lay beneath him rolled. That's from The Lady of the Lake by Sir Walter Scott, 1810. And that's where I was earlier with the little camping pods. There's a car park just down there. Quite high up. Wow. Just wow.